Welcome back to Morning Joe. What a pretty shot at 23 past the hour as the sun comes up over Capitol Hill. Gentlemen, just wait 1 second.
No, we're talking about the legend of Bud Schuster, a guy that we all know. We're talking about backroom dirty brother.
I'm sorry. Here with us now, Republican Senator from Georgia, Senator Saxby Chambliss. It's really good to have you on the show.
It's always good to be with you.
We went through Congress together, Saxby and I, but we were all talking about how Washington works and how there are, people say that you just can't get things done. There are always a few people that always could just get things done. Bud Schuster from Pennsylvania, and actually Murtha. It was always the strangest sight, Saxby, when we were in the majority and all the Democrats were cowering in the corner. Chairman Murtha was still sitting in his corner with 20 people always around him. And you know what everybody called him? Mr. Chairman.
You and I went over there a couple of times ourselves.
We sure did. I was scared not to. So what's it like? We always hear how miserable things are in the Senate, how it used to be the greatest job in Washington, and some would say in America, but now you hear so many senators saying they just don't enjoy it anymore. Are you in that crowd?
It's still a great institution. I think it still works the way the framers intended for it to work, particularly compared to the House. But the fact of the matter is the partisanship has gotten worse and worse every year that I've been there. And, you don't have folks arguing with each other and then going outside and having a drink together like you used to hear about, and we still hear the stories about.
I mean, so it's worse. I mean, we always heard that when Newt came to power, when we came in town, that was the great divide. But it's worse than it was even in the 90s when we were in the House.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question but what is worse. And I think one thing that's made it that way is C-SPAN, very honestly. You got folks on TV, and now they, instead of doing political commercials, they rant and rave during dinner time on the East Coast, and then at 9 o'clock you'll see the West Coast guys up there. So I think that being able to portray back home, I'm fighting, is the kind of mantra that a lot
people are. And Lawrence, you were there actually before the cameras were.
No, I wasn't.
Back in the 1870s.
But this is a great point. This is such a great point. And people forget today how controversial it was to bring C-SPAN in. We're still talking about, can we bring C-SPAN into the Supreme Court? And I said, oh, no. But when we brought the cameras in, people expected this. They thought, oh, this is gonna ruin everything. People are gonna start grandstanding. They're gonna do exactly what you say they are, playing to their time zone. And it started, first of all, big time in the House, and Newt Gingrich was the master of it in the House. And that's when, they used to have that one camera on the speaker, and Tip O'Neill said, hey, make that camera pan the entire House so we can see there's no one there, and he's doing this just for the camera.
Yeah. And the thing is, Jonathan Capehart, even if 1 million people aren't watching the rants and the raves on C-SPAN when people are yelling about how evil the other side is, the people in the Senate and the people in the House are watching, and they certainly know and are taking notes, and it poisons the well.
Right, and one of the things I think also poisons the well, and I want to ask you, Senator, the abuse of the filibuster rule. Do you think that has played a part in just sort of the downgrading of discussion of comity within that body?
Well, I think two things there, Jonathan. Number one, the filibuster is probably used more now than ever before, and it's easier to use it than it was when you had to stand up there and talk for 48 hours straight or whatever. But also, the majority leader's use of what we call filling up the tree, which means he brings the bill to the floor instead of having open amendment, open debate like you used to have in the Senate. He goes in and fills up the tree, doesn't allow any amendments, so then you're going to have a cloture vote. Well, and with the current makeup, Republicans who don't get amendments on a bill get upset about that. So we're not going to give them cloture on the bill. Well, you automatically
if they don't give you the right to amend that.
Yeah.
Do you think the filibuster rule should be gotten rid of? You hear it when the Republicans are in the majority, the Democrats talk about getting rid of it or should be changed. When the Democrats are in the majority, the Republicans say it needs to be gotten rid of or changed.
No, Lawrence can tell you he's been there, and the great thing about the Senate is, and it was designed this way, minority party has rights. And the minority party has rights because of the filibuster rule. So it does work, and it helps shape legislation at the end of the day. So, no, I don't think you need to get rid of it.
It's maddening. There's no doubt it's maddening, but at the same time, I remember I loved the Senate. I absolutely loved the Senate in 1993 and 1994 when Bill Clinton was president and Democrats were in charge. And I hated the Senate in 95 and 96 when the Democrats were in the minority. But they could kill one bill that we sent over after another. But what you saw
Here was my favorite moment.
They moderate. The Senate has always moderated the majority and always frustrated the majority, be it Republican or Democrat.
To show the partisanship of the whole cloture rule is we had a vote in 1993, and no, I'm sorry, it was 1993. We had this vote that we were trying to get through, and we failed. And the cloture vote was 43. I remember the Republicans got 43 votes, which is all they needed to stop us, was 43 votes. Right. And I'm thinking, what an outrage. You know, we have this Democratic president, and 43 votes is stopping. I'm really mad on the Senate floor. Chuck Grassley stands up and says, 43% have stopped what's going on here today, and that's a Democratic outrage. The President of the United States, Bill Clinton, was elected with 43% of the vote. Because Ross Perot was in the race.
Yeah.
And I just went, let me think about it.
For a while.
Senator, before you go, what do you make of the failure of Simpson Bowles to pass in the House? It lost 38-382. Is there anyone in either chamber that's really serious about hard choices, do you think, at this point, playing into the overall conversation we've been having?
The good news about that vote is got 38 more votes in the president's budget, which got 0. You know, timing is everything in politics. The timing was not right to bring that up. And, you know, I understand the folks on the House side that we've been working with are a little frustrated about nothing happening. And they were anxious to put that bill on the floor, debate it, and have a vote. A lot of folks who had been in the room, a lot of folks on the House side who had been in the room in support of Simpson Bowles voted against it. And I'm not sure why, except that I do think the timing was just not right to bring it up.
Now, you were a member of the bipartisan Gang of Six. You caught a lot of heat for staying in that group. Is there any chance after the election that we can build a consensus to take care of our debt?
Well, I hope so, because, I mean, it's going to happen. We were $14.5 trillion in debt last year during the Gang of Six discussions. Today, we're right at $16 trillion in debt, and it's going up, and nothing's being done about it. So it's gonna happen. Either we're going to fix it ourselves with this window of opportunity we have, or the folks that buy our bonds, i.e. the Chinese, they're going to mandate to us how we're going to fix it. And I don't think any American wants that to happen.
All right.
It's going to be very difficult, though, on the part of policymakers. There are going to be some hard and tough votes that have to be made.
All right, Saxby, thank you
Remember
for
when we
being
started
here.
talking about this, and you said something's got to be done, something's got to be done, and I sat here and said, well, it's for a second-term president. This guy's not going to do anything in the first term.
No.
It's a second-term president.
I know.
Senator
All right, Saxby.
Let's thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Great to see you guys.
Good to see you.